Hey everybody, this is Dirtfish. We're looking to do the patch 11.3 notes rundown here. I have no idea what's in here, but I'm hoping to see either... Well, first off, I'm hoping to see GOREDRINKER get nerfed in this section here with the items. I'm also hoping to see maybe some buffs to Viego, who feels like a really atrocious champion to play right now. And also some nerfs to Staff of Flowing Water and Moonstone, or at least the combo of the two. Because that combo is kind of running rampant in the game right now. So I'm hoping to see those changes. Beyond that, I don't really know what we're in for, so I'm interested to see what we've got in store here. Okay, starting with Anivia. Let's take a look. So, with Anivia, we're looking at Q detonation damage decreased, R cooldown increased later. So yeah, we're looking at Anivia's been a fairly strong champion. I've been seeing her a lot more in my games lately. I like seeing this change. I don't like playing against Anivia. However, I don't know if it was actually justified, because a lot of the Anivia players I've seen, I think, were trying her and doing very poorly. I think that the champion is strong, but I do think that she still took skill to pilot. So I'm not sure if this change is warranted, but maybe this is targeted at the higher levels of play. I'm not really certain, because right now in the lower levels, she's kind of weak and honestly really hard to pilot. So overall, I think that Anivia these Anivia changes are fine. I think this will weaken her. This in particular is big, because it means she can't reposition her R every second late game, which does matter. But I think that these are fairly significant changes, but I don't think it's gonna, for the people who are good at Anivia, this is gonna make her unplayable by any means. But I do think that this will make the barrier to entry a little higher, which it's already high enough. So let's take a look at Cho'Gath. E base damage decreased later. Yeah, Cho, with the last round of tank item buffs, but the item that everybody was building got nerfed, so. Cho'Gath, again, it's fine. Cho'Gath's been going kind of like an AP off-tank thing in my games, so I guess this is fine. This will make him worse at top lane. It's not going to mean anything for mid lane or jungle Cath, I don't think. Yeah, it's not going to mean anything for jungle Cho'Gath, I don't think. Okay, Elise. Another Elise nerf. Not really sure. Like, she's not really that great outside of high elo. But I also don't think that this is going to change that. Elise isn't great outside of high elo because people can't land Cocoon consistently outside of high elo. I think that Elise is probably in a fine state right now. In low elo, people who can pilot her still shouldn't, because Elise is a champion that plays a very sinner guilty type profile. But I don't know if this change is going to be good or bad. Let's see, so Q base damage and active attack speed. I think this isn't really going to do a whole lot to actually change her. I think those are placebo nerfs. Ezreal, Q damage ratio increased. Yeah, so Ezreal's looked mad garbage dumpster fire tier recently, which makes me sad because it's one of my favorite AD carries to play. Even if it's only 10% AD, Ezreal does tend to stack a fairly good amount of AD, so this could actually, and given that you're casting this, every other auto, usually, so, auto attack Q is a very common, you're going to be looking at actually a fairly significant amount of damage across a large fight or a team fight. So I think this might actually be a fairly good buff. It's a little... it feels a little weak, maybe. But Ezreal should have a low win rate. Because his barrier to entry... Well, he's very safe, but carrying on him is hard. So I think that overall Ezreal... this should bump him in the correct direction as far as making him be where he should be, which is probably around the 47 or so percent, 47 to 49% win rate. Ivern. Well, let's see, Ivern. Okay. So, this still doesn't mean that he's... Okay, this is cool. So this means that this probably won't actually matter outside of jungle. Because, like, so basically if you're playing Ivern in top lane or Ivern in support, well, in Ivern in support, I guess I could see the shield ratio, like, mattering. And the base shield mattering. But I think overall, Ivern is in a really good spot, and this will, for the people that are picking him or picking him up, this is still, continue to play Ivern. He's a great champion. This is not going to affect him all that much. Jinx! Oh, Jinx changes. Base health decreased, Q bonus range increased, fishbones, attack speed penalty decreased, E cost increased, arm time decreased, max range adjusted. Okay, more AD carry buffs, because AD carries are tragic right now. There's a reason why Twitch is building AP. Overall, hoping to see more of Jinx. So she gets less max HP, but she gets more bonus range on Fishbones. By 25 is significant. That means that she's going to be able to actually trade with some champions very effectively that she couldn't before. Having her Q out will make her be basically a mini Caitlyn at this point. So, especially because you're also not losing a whole lot of attack speed for having the RPG out. Okay, Flame Jumpers. Cost more, but shaving just under a quarter second off of the timer does feel pretty good. I also like this one. This is just a QOL thing. If you're, you should be placing things like that at max range instead of walking into range to put them where you indicated. I like that. That's good. Karma base mana regen increased, Q cost decreased, bringing good karma to support karma. Stop buffing this champion. I hate her. Let's see. So mana regen. At the very least, this is only buffing her sustain. She's not going to hurt more. I really don't like playing against Karma. But I do think that these are probably good buffs. I just think that right now, Karma... Well, I mean, actually, no. If Karma players... Oh. If Karma players build the correct items... If, basically, what I'm saying is if Karma players build Moonstone, and Moonstone hasn't gotten nerfed in this patch, then I think that they're going to be in this really crazy good spot where they're going to be, like, doing good damage, giving good sustain to both themselves and their team. Like, I don't know why Karma's actually bad right now. It might just be that Seraphine is kind of eating the spot that she would usually take up by being just better at Karma's job and requiring less skill to play. So, I don't know if the Karma buff is actually going to mean anything. I still think that it's generally better to pick Seraphine, but if Seraphine is banned and you want a heal shield, then just pick Lulu. But no, you could theoretically also pick Karma in that spot if you want a little more damage and tankiness from onto the support, or if buffing one target in particular is less your goal and buffing everybody. So Karma is going to be situationally good. I still think Seraphine is going to be the better of the two. So, Mordekaiser, equal down, decreased. So he's going to grab you in lane and smack your head in a little more often. This, okay, isn't there also this one? I don't know that this is going to change Mordekaiser very much. This is absolutely a laning phase change. This will give him a little more safety because you can always do the pull away to get out of ganks, but I don't know. I don't think this is... You're not going to be seeing an extra cast per fight usually or anything off of a 2-second change, unless it's a really, really long fight. So, overall, this is a good change. I don't think it's a super impactful one. Mordekaiser is struggling because AP items don't really work with him the way that he wants them to. So he's going to have to fight with them in this system to make them work. Olaf. Base health decreased. Passive bonus attack speed decreased. Good. Okay, more Olaf nerfs. This is good. If we see a GOREDRINKER nerf, then it's going to be really unfortunate because Olaf is mostly brutal because of GOREDRINKER. But at the same time, I mostly play support at this point, and playing Olaf, playing support into an Olaf feels really bad because he just presses R and then he runs at your AD carry and they die and there's nothing you can do about it. So we will see. Let's see. So his base health goes down a little bit. His passive does not get up to double attack speed. The amount of attack speed being granted is now displayed on Olaf's passive icon. I like that. Overall, this is a good change, I think. Olaf's really strong right now. And he's another center champion like Elise. But his clear's really fast, so he can be played with the high clear speed and looking to power spike around 2 items. Overall, if GOREDRINKER gets obliterated, then I think Olaf won't, well, he won't get obliterated, but he won't be nearly as strong as he currently is. So, kind of glad to see this change, but I'm still hoping to see GOREDRINKER nerfs, so this might be overkill if GOREDRINKER got smacked really hard. So, Pantheon. Q has now decreased damage against both minions and monsters. Cooldown increased early. Balancing out power. Ah, come on. Oh well. I don't really play Pantheon all that much anymore, so. Reduce damage against minions and monsters, so he can't jungle as well with it. And then cooldown. That's actually fairly significant. That means that early on, you do max it first, so it's not going to be like super impactful. Which is good. This is a lighter tap to Pantheon than I was expecting. Overall, the fact that he's going to be doing decreased damage to monsters means he's going to be taking attack speed in the jungle again. Not items, just the rune. And is going to have to consider like which camps he can clear quickly, because now clearing a camp like Raptors, if the reduction is too high, might take too long for it to be worth it. Especially, and now with something like Krugs is going to be like very difficult. So overall, I do like this change, even if I like playing Pantheon, but I'm not sure if it was super warranted. Pantheon generally doesn't, at least in what I've been seeing, doesn't really set himself up for success. He sets up his team for success by just being everywhere. So we will see if this matters. Okay. E cooldown flattened, so he just has a 12-second E. Yeah, that's good. I don't think it matters, but Rammus is a little strong, so making it so that you can't, making it so that his E doesn't lose cooldown as you level it is probably a good bet. Rel, yeah, this champion feels like trash to play. W1 and W2 damage ratio increased. So, it doesn't matter. Okay, you're never going to build AP on her. E damage ratio increased. Unbind cooldown. 3 seconds to 1 second. Cooldown bug fix. Fixed a bug where Rel's E attract and repel cooldown was scaling non-linearly when cast from very far away ranges. It doesn't say what the damage ratio increase on her E was, so... overall, the fact that she's going to hopefully do even just a little bit more damage is going to be really good for her, because the champion feels like crap to play if your AD carry or jungler isn't like strong enough, because you do almost no damage. I've still yet to be in a game with a Rel that has felt relevant to me. See what I did there? Because she'll jump in and be really tanky and be this like good engage. But because she isn't a threat, we will literally like walk around her and ignore her in pretty much every circumstance. And even with her R, yeah, cool, it's a big clump. And it's cool to see something like Yasuo or like Q into Yasuo or on a Rel R. It's like super circumstantial. And honestly, Rel just feels like a worse Malphite to me right now, as far as what she does and how she plays. So, without some damage, or maybe increase her attack speed so she can apply her passive more, something like that, she's just not going to be doing any damage in fights, and therefore isn't really going to be seen as a threat by most in most team fights. So, Riven E cooldown decreased by how much? losing 2 seconds. Okay, so it scales down, so looks like she gets 2 seconds at all ranks. That's good. That's really good early. Riven does generally, at least from my experience playing against her, pretty much combo off cooldown with some of these, but in some fights, she might actually get an extra total cast of E. Like, she might go from 2 casts to 3 because of this. So this is good. E gives her some safety, but also gives her chase. Like, her giving a dash a lower cooldown in addition to the fact that it's also a shield. This is great. Good change. Riven is kind of weak with the new items. She's not terrible by any means. She can still be strong, and in good hands, Riven is going to do Riven things. But she's not strong either. She's definitely in the case of you've got to be good at playing her right now to play her. So, and when I say good, I mean like very good at Riven, or being just a crazy counter matchup to play her and hard carry on her right now. So I'm glad to see this. I don't know if it'll make her that much better, but this will give her a slight nudge. You probably will see a bump in her win rate and pick rate off of this change. Seraphine, passive base note damage. Yeah, screw you, Seraphine. Go away. 4 to 16, okay. That doesn't... her passive is irritating in lane, but it's not super strong. Her W, that's good. Again, you would think, oh, well, it's only 10 damage to 20 damage. Seraphine dominates with small numbers, but this still isn't really what's making her strong. I need to see Staff... If Staff of Flowing Water and Moonstone get nerfed, then I will think that she's been brought down in power enough where it's actually going to matter. But as of right now, losing anywhere from 10 to 20 damage on her W and losing upwards of like 5 damage per auto on her passive early isn't really going to matter all that much. Shyvana, Q empowered basic attack damage and second strike bonus damage increased. W bonus movement speed increased. Huh. Okay, so they're trying to like make it so that AP Shiv is actually just a playstyle instead of just a protest. By the way, Shyvana players, I'm super sorry about the Udyr thing. I voted for Shyvana. Udyr's a great champion to receive that, but overall, Shyvana, the fact that the AP build is literally just a protest is both funny and sad to me. So hopefully they at least make it so that your champion is playable for the moment. Let's see. Getting some AP ratios on your Q and W should feel much better. Going significantly faster. So this is cool. This is cool. This is going to be much better for Shiv. Basically what you're seeing is you're getting a little bit of damage ratio on your Q with your you're getting what, a 15% and 25% AP ratio on, well, you're getting 25 on your first and then 15 on your second, and then you're looking at basically getting 8% move speed per 100 AP, which you can get. That can be a lot. Like, that can get really high because of how AP Shiv generally builds. She can get really high AP numbers. So this is a good thing. Looking forward to seeing how this pans out. So Q, damage ratio increased on Singed. Singed is... Okay, this isn't going to change when you pick Singed. This is just going to make him better when you do. Singed is still going to do the thing that he does where he's going to get picked against mobility teams and mess with them with W. Or he's going to get picked in games where he can split push forever, or if you need somebody to run in at high speed, a flip, and then just be a nuisance. But I think generally you're going to pick him whenever you want to use his W for anti-utility, or whenever you want to split with him. So the standard Singed pick locations and timings are going to be what you're looking for on him. Silas, Q cost flattened, W damage increased. Yeah, Silas is kind of really hard to play right now. So let's see. So he's always... So at level 1, his Q is going to be more expensive, but after that, it's going to be much better as far as that goes. Getting a little touch, getting what 5 plus 10% AP extra on his W is actually nice. That's a fairly hefty amount of stats. This is actually really good for Silas. I don't know if it's gonna make him like strong, but it's gonna make him pickable in some scenarios where you would want to pick Silas already. Again, this is another case where I don't know, a lot of these champions, it doesn't feel like you're gonna see them more, but whenever they could be picked, or whenever they are a legitimate viable option, that you're gonna see them more often because of it. So this is cool. I like Silas. I would like to learn how to play him, and I like seeing him because he makes the games that he's in quite interesting. But I don't know that this is going to be the change that makes him more pickable or viable. So still cool to see this buff. This means that they do acknowledge that he needs changes like this, so that's good. Talia. So they want her to... So the passive movement speed increased. She's going to actually be faster in the jungle, which is also going to be slower in the jungle in a way. Overall, this is going to nerf her clear speed significantly, but this is going to this is going to buff how fast she gets to places. So Talia in the jungle now might get played as more of a hyper ganker. I don't know if it's saying hyper gank, like, I think might overplay how much she's going to be able to gank, but still I think that this is going to be, that's the direction she's going to go towards, is a gank more, farm less, because her clear speed, losing 20% damage against monsters actually does matter. So, but it's only on subsequent rocks, but that's still, what, 3 or 4 hits? I think it's 4 hits total, are the quote-unquote subsequent stones. So, overall, this kind of does hurt really bad. Talia, against long health or big health monsters, this is going to be really rough, because that means that Talia is now going to take significantly longer to clear them because of how her Q works. But Talia already had a really fast clear, so this isn't going to push her out of jungle, it's just going to make her weaker in it. Udyr, the Udyr nerf. Why? No, I'm just playing. Now that we're looking at an Udyr rework, probably sometime this year, Udyr is a champion that I really hate playing against. I don't think he's broken. I just want to be able to fight most of the time. I tend to play lane dominant or, jungle dominant champions that can just pick 1v1s, and Udyr is a champion that if you run into, he is going to just kind of hit you until you die. So, let's see. However, this is a small Udyr nerf. Because overall you're mostly losing base damage on his R, and while his R's damage is largely what you're playing him for, losing all of 25 per proc of the R damage, while it's going to be fairly significant, it's not going to be massive because he's still going to have all the scaling involved, and Udyr really is still mostly played because he's going to flash stun you and then just kind of smack you until you die. So overall, again, Udyr's kind of a tragic champion, but he's getting reworked, so changes to him right now aren't really going to be made with long-term ideas or results in mind. So I'm fine with this change. Our cooldown, now flat. So Vladimir is going from an obscenely strong champion to just ridiculous, because shaving 30 seconds off of his R means that now he can one-shot you every 120 seconds at level 1 instead of the level 1 or at level 9, really. It was whenever he's going to start doing that, instead of every 150. Don't know why they're doing this. Vladimir's super strong, and while he's not got a high play rate, he's most games that I've seen him in, both in low and high elo, he's just kind of run at somebody, decided that they need to die, and then they go and die. So now we're getting to the part where it's fun. Item changes. Alright, we're doing a pass on mage items to create more balance amongst their purchase rates and to stop any one item from overshadowing the others. We're also broadening Horizon focus by lowering its activation range so that more mages can take advantage of its specialty. Lastly, we're unifying the stacking passives between Verdant Barrier and Seeker's Arm Guard for consistency. Okay, Lich Bane, you're just gonna get Is that more or less stats? Really? Lich Bane, I almost never see it, but I also don't play a lot of mages. So it might just be, and this is also going to be affected by champions like Victor and stuff that are just very strong. So that's fine. You're getting, so shaving 50 range off will actually help with that, but it's still pretty much going to only be bought by like the Zoes, can Morgana proc it? I think she can. Morgana, Xerath, Vel'Koz, etc. But a couple more champions might be able to proc it. I'm not really sure. I'd have to sit down and like look at who can proc it. Getting a little bit more AP though means that the champions that can build it will probably build it more often. That's good. Know that Lux probably really likes seeing this change because now she can hit slightly closer targets and still get Horizon Focus, and then also going to be looking at an extra 15 AP on that Mega R, and the same goes for like Xerath and Vel'Koz. Verdant Barrier, Adaptive Resistance, yada yada yada. Grants 0.5 magic resistance per each unit killed, maximum of 15. Okay, that's fine. Oh, actually, that's part of Banshees, right? Yeah. Banshees goes from 65 to 80. AP combined cost 400 to 700. That's a nerf. That's a nerf to Banshees. Seekers is, yep, that's good. Overall, Seekers is just an incredibly strong item right now. The Zonia's change, I think, is changing to reflect the Seekers change. So overall, this is good. You're gonna see more Horizon Focus and less of everything except maybe the Verdant Barrier Banshee's Veil. I can't tell you for sure. You'll probably see Seeker's Arm Guard get bought a little less, but the item is still incredibly pushed for the gold value, so really I'm only expecting this to just increase the purchase rate of Horizon Focus. I'm not really expecting it to decrease the purchase rate of these other items. Because you mostly buy these whenever you need the stats involved, not because, oh yes, I want a Seeker's Arm Guard against this Nivea or some nonsense. So, Enchanter items. Woo! Get rid of Staff! It's still too good. They didn't actually change what matters. 10 AP on it matters not at all. Temtech Putrefier, Puffcap Toxin, healing or shielding an ally champion. Now powers the allies and damage to an enemy champion with 60% Grievous Wounds. Wait, so it's garbage. So it's awful. Don't buy Chemcheck Putrefier. If you're in support, don't buy that. Instead, go for the just build the Morello. If you really want Grievous on a mage support like that, just build Morellos. You're gonna be doing more with it. So. Because, oh my gosh, like, that's bad. That's a really bad active. Riot, revert that, please. That's terrible. Fighter items, Silvermere. 35 to 40, 200 to 300. QSS. The QSS fighter item is really good, so making it do a little more expensive for 5 AD, I actually think that's a nerf. They say it's a buff, but I think that's a nerf. And then Iron Spike, does that kill GOREDRINKER? I don't think it does. Oh, we're gonna get to it. Okay, Iron Spike. I have bought Iron Spike on like Lee Sin and stuff, so yeah, that's fine. I'm good with that. Marksman items, PD. Getting... Okay, so PD is now taking the place of what was Rundwon's as far as, like, his build stats and stuff. That's cool. Attack speed, 45 to 25, 0 to 20, 5 to 4, 40 to 30. PD. Need that much attack speed, so we're sharing with the items. We're also going more oomph to Immortal Shield Bow, because only purchased by hardbound short range users that benefit from lifestyle, even then lose out often to Gale Force, which does the same in most situations. Yeah, Shield Bow, I mean, I love Shield Bow, and it's probably an item that I'll still build a lot, because I like the lifesteal, but I only really build Shield Bow on champions like Yone, Master Yi, etc. And I know I shouldn't be building on Master Yi, but I do anyway. But, especially Yone, like... But if I'm playing a marksman, I'm not going to build Shield Bow over Gale Force or the other one. The other one, whatever the crap it's called. The Kraken. I almost never build Kraken either. Pretty much just build Gale Force and everything. So, I don't know if the Shield Bow... Actually, no, Shield Bow, getting 5% attack speed and 5 AD for free, that's good. I don't think it's going to make you buy it more because it still doesn't fulfill the function that... it still doesn't fulfill, like, a huge function. But still having slightly more pushed stats is going to be good. And then Lord Doms, please, dude. Tanks are still so strong. AD carry, we need more, even more AD carry item buffs because AD carry right now is a role that is basically atrocious and super trash to play. Unless you're playing one of, like, 2 or 3 just really, really strong champions. Like Samira, Kaisa, and Jhin. But besides that, it's really hard to play the role. And actually be a relevant carry from it. So, glad to see AD carry item buffs overall. But Riot seems to not be looking at the role as a whole as something that needs buffed. They're looking at what's getting picked up more often. So, sustain items. GOREDRINKER. 25 to 8%. Woo! 4% missing health. Let's go. Chop that shit right down. That might actually matter. I think that really does matter. I'm liking literally all of this. Oh my god, yes. Okay, heal. Okay, 5% less healing and getting more health from it overall. Getting less Omnivamp. But you're getting Omnivamp from the passive here, so Riftmaker still being the magic sustain item is still going to be a strong item. It just means that the Leeching Leer isn't going to be as valuable as a component that you can sit on for a while anymore. Overall, this is good. This is going to be good for the champions that I think want to build it, because while you're getting a little less power from it, although you are still getting AP from it right here, but while you're getting a little less direct power from it, you're going to overall get a good amount of power from it. And what, 2% times 5, 10. You're going to get up to 18% Omnivamp. So 2 times 5, 10. So you're looking at just a little bit more at the end of the game Omnivamp if you sell boots. And just a little bit, or is it the same? 2. It'll be a little tiny bit more Omnivamp at the end of the game with 4 items. So this is still good. I like the Riftmaker change a lot. I love the GOREDRINKER change. Just nerf it again. Just nerf it again. Eclipse. This is... Oh, that's good. This is good. So now you can play around the shield more than the Omnivamp. I still like this. This is good. Ravenous Hydra. Losing 5% Omnivamp on that is kind of suck because... they're just touching on healing everywhere. I guess that's fine. We've got so much healing in the game right now that that's a good thing. Lifeline shield, 200 to 100. Oh. Then again, Sterix is getting bought a lot, so this is probably good. This is... I think that the Sterix gauge change with all the other changes might not have been necessary, but I'm not sure because... Maybe even with all these changes, getting the Sterix shield and then still getting the GOREDRINKER, still getting to use your Ravenous healing, all that, might have been too much. So let's look. Tank items. Wow, this is a big patch. Okay, Force of Nature. Absorb bonus movement speed. Getting a little bit faster. Let's go. Movement speed me. Getting 10 extra movement speed means that I can go 10 movement speed faster. Deadman's going a little slower. Being like a little worse. You're losing 75 HP. That can matter, but usually in the late game fight, it's going to be 1 to 2 auto attacks. So, and 1 to 2 auto attacks from like someone who isn't an AD carry. Like 1 to 2, or 1 to 2 AP Twitch auto attacks without his poison damage, like for real. So, don't think that's going to really matter. Let's see. Frozen Heart, losing 200 gold. Overall, I think the Frozen Heart is just bad because it doesn't give HP. And almost everybody wants the HP, but having the item be cheaper, because there are champions who will want to buy it just because they're running in a lot of fights. It's good. This makes it a viable option. It's still going to be a bad item overall, though. Zon Clash, we'll talk about that. Don't care. Buff versus QOL. Lunar Beast Viega's already out. so I don't know why they're saying it's going to be released. But let's take a look at these other ones. Lunar Beast Annie, I like this skin a lot, but it's the required Annie skin of the year. So, you know, we got our Annie skin out of the way. Lunar Beast Fiora. Oh, that's cool. That's really neat. Let me... Okay, then actually... I don't like that any. Be blinded by the light! No, I'm just fine. Let's see. Can I click on that? Yes, much better. Really like the Lunar Beast. So I was wondering about the horns on Viego, but I think that's just a thing that everybody's got. Yeah, see, look at Annie. Annie's got the horns too. Be blinded by the light! Lunar Beast Alistair, that just fits. I think that Alistair is the Lunar Beast that everybody else is defending from, which is great because ooh, we get to those. Lunar Beast Jarvan, that's a cool skin. Lunar Beast Aphelios, so that's just... So, Aphelios getting another lunar skin, but, you know, it still makes sense, so... Oh no, he was Blood Moon. Yeah, still lunar! Son of a gun! But yeah, no, I mean, it fits, again. If it's gonna be moon-based, then giving a Lunari champion that is gonna be cool. Let's look at the Fiora Prestige. Do I like it more than the regular Fiora look? Yeah, I do. Overall, that's a good look for her. The white and the gold does look good on her. Who's in the background over there? Let's take a look. And then we're looking at Crystal Rose Zyra and Swain, and then Withered Rose Syndra and Talon. That's cool. It should be Zed, but that's still cool. But I don't care, because what I'm interested in is this bad boy right here. This one, I'm getting the Swain skin. That skin looks super fire, and I'm definitely going to play the mess out of bot lane Swain with this skin. So, alright, so let's do our quick rundown of everything, and my opinions on it in the lower elos. Obviously, for high elos, go watch somebody like Freak, or like I'm about to watch LS, and their champion reviews to see what you're going to be looking at in pro play or higher elos, but or if you want more advanced data on it. So, Anivia Q, I think that this is just raising her entry level barrier. Cho'Gath, I think this is just going to make him very slightly weaker in top lane. Elise is still a champion that you should only be picking in specific spots because you're trying to abuse early advantages. She's still going to be a great solo queue champion. I still wish that she wouldn't get picked up pro play. Ezreal is a champion that you should only pick up if you're going to really hardcore dedicate to the champion, or if he's like meta and you're still like, and you're already very proficient at the game. But this buff is going to make him a little bit better and easier to carry around. Ivern, this is going to be a nerf to jungle Ivern and a slight nerf to support Ivern, but if you're playing him in top lane, or if you're playing him just because he is the role that your team wants, you want that heal shield to buff a hyper carry on your team, Ivern's still going to be a fantastic pick. Jinx, I like these changes. I'm not sure if these are actually going to make her more or less relevant in the game overall. I think that Jinx, you're looking at a champion that has like a very specific niche, and that niche isn't really getting fulfilled in the game right now. She doesn't have the correct itemization or the game lengths really to reach the standard Jinx point that makes her just this hyper-scaling monster. Karma is still a worse Seraphine and a worse Lulu in most situations, and a worse Nami. Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser is still going to get used for the same thing that he currently gets used for, which is isolating single problem targets, making dragon contests and stuff significantly safer by death rolling people, things like that. You're not going to pick Mordekaiser to hard carry, and this change isn't going to change that. Olaf, see GOREDRINKER changes later, but basically Olaf, you're looking at a champion that was abusing GOREDRINKER and was already a strong champion before that and went really crazy with it. So now you're looking at a much more, between this and the GOREDRINKER item change, Olaf's going to be much more easily contained in the games that he's in. Pantheon. Pantheon hasn't been hardcore stomping or dominating, but this is going to make him a little worse at setting up his team for success from mid and jungle. Rammus, I think this is just going to make him a slightly worse champion in team fights, and a very, very slightly worse champion in the ganks, but not really. Rammus is still going to be really strong in situations where you pick Rammus. This is a placebo nerf to try to get people to not play him. Rel is still going to be a champion that you pick because you have, like, crazy Wombo on your team. She still doesn't have damage threat very much, and still requires a huge amount of team synergy. In low elos, you still shouldn't be picking Rel unless you just really, really like the champion, because she's not going to be doing enough damage unless you start building AP on her. Riven. This is probably going to make... her feel better, especially given that GOREDRINKER and Ravenous are both getting nerfed this patch. Hopefully Riven is going to be... hopefully this change can balance it out so that Riven doesn't feel like absolute trash to play. Seraphine. These are almost placebo nerfs, I think. Seeing the Staff of Flowing Water change does help with this fact, but the Staff of Flowing Water change doesn't change too much, so Seraphine's still probably going to be dominating the support role, and also playable in mid as a flex, and also playable in bot lane as a flex. So Seraphine is still a really strong champion that you should be looking at playing. If you don't, this includes me, I just don't like her. Shyvana. Q, this is just nice. These are nice touches to allow AP Shyvana to be more than just a fireball. I don't know if this is going to make her feel good to play. I don't think it will, but this will make her more playable. Her W, especially, I think that's going to be nice. I think the extra damage on the Q is okay, but I think the W is going to be really nice. This might actually make her relevant in low elo. Singed Q. You're going to pick Singed for the exact same reason that you would always pick Singed, which is to split push or to abuse the fact that most champions really hate your W. Silas. This might actually make him more playable for lower skilled players. And it's also just going to be overall a general buff to lane Silas. I'm curious about what it'll mean for jungle Silas, but he's going to be doing more damage and able to cast more times in lane. So in particular, it's just going to make his lane phase a little bit easier. Talia, this is going to make her gank more and farm less in jungle. She's probably still alright though. Udyr, this is just going to make it so that if he touches you, you don't immediately die, generally. Vladimir is going to one-shot you 30 seconds sooner for the entire game for the most part. So, these items, generally in here, the only one that I'm really concerned with is Horizon Focus. That's going to just make it better on the champions it's already good on. It's also probably going to let a couple of champions who couldn't really proc it very well proc it now much more easily. The enchanter items, this needs nerfed again. We also need to nerf Moonstone. The Iron Spike Whip, I guess is kind of relevant here. All of these changes are nice, so I just want more marksman item buffs because the roll sucks. GOREDRINKER change is massive. Overall, this entire so the GOREDRINKER and Riftmaker changes are really, really good. Ravenous Hydra change is alright. I think that's, again, this is really just meant to say we want there to be less healing on the AD champions in the game because what they can do is just survive forever in fights. And while it's really fun to play, it's also really frustrating to play against something that just, yeah, sure, I got it down low, but now it's going to be full health again in a sec, so that's stupid. It's frustrating to play against, too. Like, building resistances, even if it took you the same amount of time to kill an Aatrox with a lot of resistances, this also gives him damage and everything, so like, overall this is going to be good. This whole section is really good, except for maybe Eclipse, but I still think that the Eclipse changes are good overall. Frozen Heart is going to be a more viable option, it's still not going to be good. Deadman's is going to be, you're still going to buy Deadman's fairly regular because the item is still good. And then you're going to see Force of Nature probably a little bit more, but not that much more. But I'm going to buy it more because I like going fast, and now I go even more fast. Beyond that, we just have skins. So, yeah, really disappointed not to see any Viego changes or changes to Moonstone. But the big change that I wanted to see, which was the GOREDRINKER nerf, we did get to see. So, really excited, hoping to see a little less healing and a little less unkillable monsters coming from jungle and top lane. So this is good. Good patch overall. This does make me more excited to play the game than I was going to be initially. So, yeah, look forward to a slightly healthier game on patch, 11.3? Lord, really? Yeah, patch 11.3. So, thank you very much for watching. Tune in 2 weeks from now for my next patch notes rundown. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you guys later.